같은데.
아, 그 오렌지 커피 LA 사는
Thank you very much for being here today. We are here to show solidarity in our community and to demand our civic leaders to hear us. The decision to put the shelter here was done without any community input. And they are denying us a public hearing. Supervisor Sheila Kuehl and Mark Ridley Thomas said, the first step in getting permanent supportive housing built has to be community outreach. Like we said many times before, we are not against homelessness. We want to find permanent solution to end homelessness. Nevertheless, the exclusion of the community in the process is wrong. Our civic leaders should represent us, not ignore us. Today, I have some guests and leaders of the Latino community. One of the things that I called this press conference for is that on Saturday, I had met a lady who came to the demonstration on the corner of Wilshire and Vermont, and she was a concerned Latino citizen. But in Spanish, she was saying negative things about the Korean community until I spoke to her in Spanish. And then I found out that she was told that the Korean community is against affordable housing. And I'm here to have the guest speak to set the record straight. So the first speaker I'm going to bring up is a good friend of mine, un colega mío, un mentor para mí, alguien que me ha guiado en todos los años, en todo activismo, a mismo en la política. Quiero traer ahora a mi hermano Juan José Gutiérrez. Venga para acá. Gracias.
Good morning, and thank you all for coming. My name is Juan José Gutiérrez. I represent the Full Rights for Immigrants Coalition since 1997. It was founded in our nation's capital in Washington, D.C. I'm here to say, on behalf of the Latino and the immigrant community, that in this city, which has been represented to the population of the nation as the city, the sanctuary city that supports all immigrants. That's been said by Mayor Garcetti and almost every other single elected politician in the city and county of LA. Judging by the president of the LA City Council, Mr. Herb Wesson, and the mayor of the city, Gil Garcetti, their decision to set up what they call temporary shelters for the homeless, we have to say that their rhetoric about this city being supportive of immigrant rights is nothing more, or it looks a lot like a farce. We want our elected representatives to truly, not just in words, but indeed represent the entire population of the city of LA. As my brother Benito Pac already stated, there was never any outreach to the two most concerned communities in this district, the Korean American community and the Latino community. This was presented to the public as an accomplished fact. Now they're talking about that there will be outreach and that there's going to be a conversation. But you know, those words sound hollow when we don't know the date when those meetings are supposedly scheduled to take place, who's going to be able to be there, and where is the meeting or meetings going to take place. You know, the city of LA has a very troubled history. Let us not forget what happened back in the 90s in the aftermath of the brutal beating of Mr. Rodney King, and what happened between the African American community and the Korean American community. and how the way the politicians at that time handled that relationship led to nothing more than a polarization of the entire population of the city of LA. I would hope that Mr. Herb Wesson has not forgotten that, and that he does not have or harbor any interior motives for dumping so-called temporary shelters for the homeless in this community. So I am here to say, not what Benito Pac said. I oppose, our coalition opposes the building of any temporary or permanent homeless shelters in this community, because it is completely unfair the way the process has been handled. No conversation, no consultation, no give and take. Why was this community chosen and nothing has been said about the 14 other councilmatic districts that, like this district, should also be part of the conversation so that we can all feel that we're all in this together? So I'm here to oppose it, and unless and until I am persuaded, and our community is persuaded by Mayor Eric Garcetti and City Council President Herb Wesson, that they mean well and that they're going to be fair in this process, we're here to register our disappointment and to tell them that there's going to be opposition to this political move. En español, brevemente, mi nombre es Juan José Gutiérrez, yo represento la coalición Derechos Plenos para los Inmigrantes. Es un gran honor para mí estar aquí con mis hermanos y hermanas coreanos. Ya es tiempo de que nuestras comunidades se unan. Diferentes políticos a través de los años han maniobrado de mil maneras para mantenernos divididos y de esa manera hacer lo que se les dé la gana. Pero ya el colmo de los colmos es este anuncio que recientemente hicieron el alcalde de la ciudad de Los Ángeles, Eric Garcetti, y el presidente del concilio de la ciudad de Los Ángeles, Herb Wesson, de que van a construir aquí en esta comunidad, donde el 80% de los residentes son latinos, donde la mayor parte o una buena parte de los negocios son propiedad de la comunidad hermana de coreanos, y sin mayor discusión, sin invitar a nadie a una conversación, simple y sencillamente, por decreto prácticamente, como en una dictadura, deciden que van a poner aquí vivienda temporal para los indigentes. Nosotros no estamos, como dijo Benito Pac, en contra de apoyar a los indigentes. Es una obligación de todos los angelinos de buscarle solución a sus problemas, pero no creemos que la forma correcta de proceder es como lo están haciendo el alcalde Eric Garcetti y el presidente del concilio Herb Wesson. Ellos tienen una obligación a los residentes de este distrito de invitarlos a una conversación, y yo diría que habría que ampliarla a invitar a otras gentes del distrito, de otros distritos, porque también ellos tienen la obligación de compartir en prestarles asistencia a los homeless. Cerca de aquí hay 5 escuelas públicas. Se va a construir esto, no ha habido una conversación al respecto. ¿Cómo va a afectar a los niños y niñas que asisten a esas escuelas públicas el construir esa vivienda para indigentes? Hay muchas cuestiones que están volando en el aire. Yo estoy aquí para decir, a nombre de nuestra coalición y de la comunidad latina, que estamos totalmente en contra de que se construyan esas viviendas aquí, toda vez que el proceso sea injusto y no se invite a nadie a una conversación seria donde haya daca, toma y daca, para que el proceso sea justo. Así de que nos oponemos y venimos a decir al alcalde y al presidente del concilio que aquí va a haber bronca y que ahora sí va a haber una lucha política seria, porque ya estamos cansados de que se decrete y se asumen decisiones sin tomar en cuenta a la comunidad a la que ellos dicen que respetan tanto. Muchas gracias.
I'm going to bring up Laura John. She is the president of the Korean American Federation.
On behalf of the Korean American Federation of Los Angeles, I would like to thank Ben Pak and the Full Rights for Immigration Coalition for hosting today's press conference. Homelessness has become a collective, most prevalent, and the biggest issue, and the Korean American community cares about the homeless issue. We have compassion towards the homeless and want to be a part of the solution to ending the homeless crisis in our own community. There are a number of Korean American church groups and charitable organizations who are involved with homeless shelters and with feeding and assisting the homeless. We do not object to the creation of a temporary shelter. However, we oppose the lack of due process and the disregard of community input as to where the shelter is placed. The voices and interests of the Korean community or Koreatown community were not considered in the hasty selection of this site. Community members have serious concerns about the currently proposed Vermont site. And also community members have made it abundantly clear that they will not accept the proposed Vermont site due to a lack of public input process. The community demands that there is a proper public input process before a final decision is made. To that end, we have asked Mayor Garcetti and Council President Wesson to survey all viable sites within Council District 10, develop reports on all potential sites and make them available to the public, and demonstrate true civic engagement by holding a public hearing to garner stakeholders' input and buy-in in the selection process, and create an oversight committee per council district or shelter comprised of stakeholders and respective officials and experts. It is our sincerest hope that the voices and the interests of the community is taken into full consideration as we move forward in this process. We remain ready to do our part to help ensure a positive outcome. Thank you.
Next, I have Dr. John Fernandez from Coalition to Protect Lincoln Heights.
Thank you very much. I'm a teacher activist and a community activist and an immigrant rights activist. I'm here representing the Coalition to Protect Lincoln Heights. The Coalition to Protect Lincoln Heights completely support the Korean American community in this effort, and we completely oppose any homeless housing without public hearings, without representation, and without a voice. We are going through the same thing in Lincoln Heights. We've had meetings and meetings and meetings where over 250 community residents from Lincoln Heights have voiced their opposition to mixed housing. First, the city called it homelessness. It was a measure passed a couple of years ago. Then now they're saying that it's mixed housing. Well, we got news for them. We are completely opposed to them, however they're describing it. We also are having a fundraiser on May the 20th at 9 a.m., 2303 Workman Street in Lincoln Heights. We invite all of you to come and march with us. We're going to have a breakfast, and then we're going to have a march. You march with us, we march with you. We also want you to engage your community, and you do it through your neighborhood council. Very, very important. We also have a lawyer that's going to stop this process too in Lincoln Heights. Lincoln Heights is a very, very poor community, and they want to bring in this low-income housing. We don't know who they're bringing in. They could be bringing in pedophiles, drug addicts, we don't know, convicted felons. We have to be, and you have to be, engaged in this process. And the city, Gil Cedillo, who represents Lincoln Heights, we kept calling him for a meeting to meet with us over and over and over again till he finally came last month, and there were over 250 people opposed, and they're not listening to the community, and we're going to continue to struggle till the community has a voice and till they listen to us. We do not want those 5 parking lots taken away. This is only all about money and gentrification, and we are here to support you, and we are here to tell you that we will continue, the Coalition to Protect Lincoln Heights will continue to struggle. Thank you very much.
Next, I would like to bring up Jake Jung, who has been a leader in the effort and also an attorney.
I'm here as a community member that is very concerned about this plan. And I'm also the president of KCLA, Korean Community Lawyers Association. We all know on the street there are 35,000 homeless people, according to the survey done back in 2017. We all know this homeless issue has been a big issue that, we all agree that we need to really do something about this, and then we have to resolve this issue because this has been only kind of getting worse and worse. And who does not agree to that? And we support the idea that the city will spend $20 million for emergency homeless shelter to make about only like 1,500 beds. But that number sounds very little, and I'm concerned about the viability of this plan. But generally, spending money to help them, that's a great idea. And $1.2 billion to build a supportive shelter that will make about 10,000 units. But at the beginning we just talked about 35 units, 35,000 homeless people, and then but the EQA, the number does not really match, like 35,000 homeless versus 10,000 units after spending $1.2 billion. That there are concerns and there are questions. So we need to talk about all this, and then generally speaking, we all want to do something about it, and we do support the city's efforts to resolve this issue. But the problem is, the question really is whether this is going to really work out, and whether this is going to really help homeless people, and whether this is not going to be another sad history of just simply wasting a lot of money that is not going to really help homeless people at all, and end up hurting neighboring communities. Go down to the 6th Street to the downtown. We have a very good example of failure, the Skid Row. And then that, even today, is not under control at all. It's out of control. And they say, making these shelter plans, say, things will be under control. Okay, I'm trying to believe you, but I have concerns and I have questions, which is why we need to talk. And so, like I said, from the beginning, to resolve this issue, really spending a lot of money for helping really homeless people, we need to discuss why we could not resolve this issue until today. Why we could not, homeless people did not really use pre-existing homeless shelters. We know there are shelters, and they are mostly not really used by homeless people. Why? We should start asking questions from there. And why we also have to ask what the homeless people really want. I mean, we say we want to help, and then what do they really want? Is there really a study? Especially, the Councilman Wesson said, we have 400 or 500 homeless people in Koreatown only. Was there any real interview, survey as to what they want? And then, do we really know what they really want, and how effectively and meaningfully we can really help them? And there was no such procedure. And we need to discuss about also what impacts this plan will bring to the neighboring communities. Stand there. I last week came here morning and night, every day to meet people that are really walking by, that are doing these mom and pop businesses, that are living in these condos and apartments. Don't look at the big apartments on Visual Street only. Here 7 and 8 in the small aisles here and there. It's all very small, really ordinary people's like apartments and condo buildings. They are trying to survive. I mean, in this economy, they are working hard. They are really dedicated to kind of maintain their family, protect their child. And then these mothers and fathers stay in the morning, like until 8:30 to go to the Robert Kennedy School. There's an elementary school too. Holding their hands, and then they go to school, and they want their children be safe. And these children, we are not talking about Korean Americans only. Stand there, just 10 minutes, you will get the answer, very obvious and clear. We are talking about Hispanic, like Latino Americans, and African Americans, and Caucasian Americans, and Korean Americans. We are not, the whole big picture is kind of misperceived by the people and maybe by the city too. This is not Korean versus Western. This is about resolving community issue together. So we need to talk about together why we failed in the past, how we are not going to repeat the same failure, and how we are really going to help them, and how we are not going to end up wasting $20 million for emergency homeless shelter and $1.2 billion for supportive homeless shelters. At the end of the day, you know what? It did not work out. And the shelter areas ended up being another skid row, second, third, fourth, and then they have a plan about 18 shelters. And then they all become really bad and badly affected. People die, and then homeless people, they did not really get help out of it. We have concerns, and then hopefully they have answers to these questions. So let's talk. That's what we are talking about. And then about this spot. We are not necessarily just disagreeing to having a shelter in Koreatown. I mean, let's talk and let's look at all the candidate sites available. Let's see good things and bad things of each choice. And let's together make the best choice that will really help homeless people. Let's really help homeless people. And then we should know what impacts that will bring to the neighboring communities, and whether that's going to really bring any danger to the safety of children, their children's life, people's life, people living in this area, working in this area. So, and then we are going to make a decision together. And then, $20 million is not enough. $1.2 billion is not enough. You know what? Whole community, not only Korean Americans, Hispanics, Caucasian, everybody says they want to do something. They want to resolve this issue. So they will be joining really these efforts. So you, the city mayor, Garcetti, please, and the city councilman, Weston, please, you don't have to make this adversary at all. I mean, we all are on the same page. And we want to really help people. And we really want to resolve this issue all together. So we are ready to talk, and we are ready to help. We are ready to support, and we are ready to join these efforts to resolve this issue. So let's please talk and work together. And another important issue is about constitutional right. As I said, the due process and right to be informed properly, and then right to be.
Can you talk about that offline since we're time pressed? So.
About the rally?
Okay. Talk about the rally last time.
Okay. So we are talking about constitutional due process rights, like the procedure is important. That's how America has maintained integrity of this system, politics being democratic, and also the community discussion and all these community efforts being joined together. That all goes through the fair and just procedure. And for that, Constitution, not Senate bill, not just federal or state law. Constitution says you have to do it through the due process. Due process means people, especially the people that will get affected by certain policies and decisions and the plans, they need to be informed fully, and they should be heard fully, and then decisions should be made all together. It's fundamental rights, and and the 11th Amendment, 14th Amendment, it also says it's also very fundamental substantive right. There was no procedure for that at all. I mean, let's say city mayor and the city councilman is making a good decision. I'm hoping so too. They have a very good plan. I hope so too. Let's say they have it, but still, without this due process, they will lose justification about whatever they do. We need to talk, and then people need to know what's going on and what's going to happen, and then how this is going to affect their lives, and they need to be heard about that. So, we need to help them, and then, little sacrifices are inevitable. So let's just do it without hearing from them. That's so irresponsible. You don't want to be like that. And then that's how you're making this issue being adversary. As leaders, city mayor Garcetti, please, and then city councilman, the Wesson, please. You don't have to make this adversary. We can talk together, and we can resolve this issue together. We can try hard together. So as leaders, that's how you should do it. Like at the White House, this is not going to be how you're going to working, right? You're going to be just passing by. I have a good plan. So, okay, I have a good plan. So let's just do it. And then, you are not going to disregard due process, constitutional rights of the people. That's not how you're going to do your work at the White House. And that's not City Councilman Wesson. That's not how you're going to do your job at the mayor's house, mayor's office. You don't disregard people's rights, which is constitutional fundamental rights. It must be honored. And then, like I said, from the beginning, to really resolve the issue, we need to talk together, and we need to try hard together, and then we need to really resolve this issue together. So, like I said, we don't want this to be adversary, but somehow somebody's making it this way. So we have no choice. This is not our choice, but we have to do it until we get to really talk. Okay. So let me just make one announcement about the Saturday rally, 4 p.m. Here, we are gonna block this Vermont Avenue from Wilshire to 7, and then we are gonna have another rally this coming Saturday, 4 p.m. in this place. Thank you.
Presentando a los residentes de aquí. Gracias.
Hola, muy buenos días, compañeros. Estamos aquí hoy para alzar nuestra voz, porque no estamos en contra del refugio para homeless, estamos en contra de la forma en que tomaron la decisión sin preguntar a la comunidad. Ahora más que nunca es cuando tenemos que estar unidos los coreanos y los latinos. Now is the time for the united the Koreans and Latinos, because the people united will never be divided. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you very much for being here. As you can see, we're here standing in solidarity to show that the community cares and the community is united against this unjust process. Many of the speakers already voiced that we are not against homelessness. We want to find a solution, and the Korean American community as well as the Latino has been very, very open about the homeless being in our community. So please do not spread wrong information, because that's what we're finding out, that to the Latino community is one thing is said, and to the Korean community is something else. So the speakers are going to be here to answer your questions. We're not going to have a Q&A at this time, but everybody will be available offline. Thank you very much.
여기에 대해서 어떤 지지 의사 표현이 있었고 어떤 식으로 진행되는지 설명 좀 해주세요.
네, 일단은 오늘 이렇게 많이 와주셔서 대단히 감사드리고요. 라티노들하고 오늘 그 기자회견한 이유가, 제가 토요일 날 랠리 갔을 때 남미분들하고 토론을 했더니 인포메이션을 제대로 안 받으셔갖고, 한인 커뮤니티가 지금 현재 여기 그 노숙자 쉘터 반대하는 게 아니고 affordable 하우싱을 반대한다고 그래갖고 거기 나오셨더라고요. 그래갖고 제가 라티노 커뮤니티하고 어저께 리더십하고 만나갖고 이거에 대해서 얘기했더니, 그러면 우리가 꼭 기자회견을 해야지만 라티노들도 여기를 그 홈레스 쉘터에 대해서 반대를 하고, 그 다음에 한인 커뮤니티하고 같이 합쳐갖고 우리 지금 시원 그 다음에 시장한테 같은 모습을 보여주기 위해서 오늘 기자회견 겁니다. 그 라티노들이 여기 이 지역에서 거진 80%가 살고, 비즈니스 하시는 분들은 다 한국 분인데 제가 볼 때는 유권자들이 여기 많이 없고 그 다음에 한인 그 커뮤니티가 목소리를 크게 안 높이기 때문에 제가 볼 때는 여기 LA시 전체에 이런 그런 노숙자 쉘터를 처음에 한다는 것에 대해서도 반대고요. 이 장소도 반대고 여기에 우리 그 스키드로 보시면은 거기에도 그 쉘터를 해갖고 잘못 안 돼갖고 그 드러그 아딕 그 다음에 알코올릭도 많고 거기에 범인들도 많고 그 사건들이 많아지는데 딱 여기 제일 바쁜 윌셔 버몬트에다가 노숙자 그 쉘터를 하면은 그거를 도시에서 그다음에 LAPD에서 어떻게 감당할 거야 되는 것에 대해서도 아무 얘기가 없었고 그냥 일단 여기다가 진대는 것에 대해서는 되게 반대입니다.
지금 그러면 이쪽에 한타운에 있는 라티노 분들도 이주신다는 거죠?
네, 왜냐하면 그 라티노 미디어 지금은 이제는 그 메인스트림 미디어가 계속 커버하기 때문에 이제 조금씩 알리기 시작했는데요. 지금까진 그 커뮤니티 아웃리치가 없었고 라티노한테도 얘기 안 하고 저희 한인들도 딱 이거를 그 기자회견했을 때 아는 사실이었기 때문에 저희들도 계속 나가면서 라티노들한테 아까도 보셨지만 지나가는 분들한테 이 자료를 주면은 깜짝 놀래갖고 같이 자기 그 부모님들한테도 같이 얘기했다고 그러지만 이거를 계속 이렇게 이끌어 나가갖고 여기 사시는 분들한테도 알려드려야 돼요.
도움 준다고 도움 주신다고 하셨던 단체들 몇 개 정도로 이름은 어떻게 되세요?
지금 여기 아시다시피 링컨 하이츠도 그런 똑같은 문제가 있기 때문에 그 존 페르난데스 그분이 여기 대표로 나오셨는데 거기는 한 250명 단체고요. 그 후안 호세 구티에레스 같은 데는 그 이미그레이션 콜리션이지만 거기에 단체가 한 25개가 포함되어 있는 그 단체로 대표로 나오셨어요. 어디? 네. 네. 일단은 아까 말씀드렸지만 그 미스인포메이션을 받으셔갖고 그 홈레스대에서 반대를 한 거를 알았는데 제가 설명해드리고 이게 노숙자 그 템포럴 쉘터라 했더니 그분들도 황당하고 여기 아까 그 후안 호세 얘기하시는 거 들어봤지만 이분들은 여기에 그냥 쉘터를 전체 안 짓는 거를 원하신다고 그렇게 얘기해요. 거기에는 25명이 그 회장들이 모으셔갖고 거기에 보팅한 게 그 사실이에요.